Good morning, and thank you so much for this invitation to Tamás, Attila, and all here for organizing this conference. I will speak in broken English, so I will not read, but then you have to forgive me because of my English mistakes. This year we celebrate not just the Hungarian Revolution. We celebrate the Hungarian Revolution, and we are here to do this, and there are no many places in the world, in the academy and the universities, where these key factors of the 20th century are being studied. That would be my first remark. Unfortunately, revolutions are the most interesting and with more impact process in the history of the last 200 years, but they are probably the subjects less studied by universities. So my congratulations again for doing this. But apart from the Hungarian Revolution, we celebrate also the anarchist revolt of 1901, the Biennio Rosso in Italy in 1919, the Bavarian and the German Revolution of 1919, the Chinese Revolution of 1949, the Cuban Revolution of 1959, the Nicaragua Revolution of 1979, and the Iranian Revolution of 1979. But if I go out of the 9 number, we also, of course, celebrate the Bolshevik Revolution, the Easter Spring in Ireland in 1916. Before that, the Portuguese Revolution of 1910, the Russian Revolution of 1905, the Mexican Revolution of 1910, the Triennial Bolshevik in Spain of 1917-1920, the German Revolution of 1923, the Austrian Revolution Civil War of 1934, the Spanish Revolution of 1934, the Indonesian Revolution, the Bolivian Revolution, the Democratic German Uprising of 1953, all the anti-colonial revolutions with special outline to Vietnam, the May of 68, the Prague Spring, the Ottolocaldo in Italy in 79, the Portuguese Revolution, and etc. So it's difficult to find 5 years in the 20th century without a revolution. That is the first thing I want to remember, although probably in this room there's no need to do it. But we keep focusing on the processes of slowly transition and changings of capitalism, diminishing the extraordinary impact of the ruptures that took place in the 20th century. Of course, in all these dates, I should make a special remark to the Hungarian Revolution of 1956. We just had revolutions, social revolutions, of course, after we had workers, and this is something that we have to focus, we have to chronologically date between the end of the 19th century and the first decades of the 20th century. What we had, because in the revolutions of 1848, as Marx pointed out, we saw for the first time important sectors of organized working class and workers, not just people, but workers, having a role in the revolutions, in the People's Spring in Europe. But they were still revolutions dominantly by divisions between the bourgeoisie and the aristocracy. But Marx remarked something very interesting concerning 1848 revolutions. The bourgeoisie has learned after 48 that they could no longer use the workers against the aristocracy because the workers have their own demands. This is the center of the theory of the permanent revolution that will be developed by Parvus and Trotsky during the 20th century, and I believe the 20th century has proved to be totally right concerning this. When workers start moving, they naturally and spontaneous put the demands of the working class in front of the process. And these demands don't start it, not even in Russia, with a political party. The political parties are absolutely a key factor. I believe this is one of the main factors in the 20th century. That's why we are celebrating revolutions, but we are not celebrating socialism, including because of the lack of parties. Most of these revolutions were defeated, not just because of that, for other factors that we cannot develop here. But all the revolutions and workers' demands, they don't start with a party, they start with workers' commissions, or workers' council, or Soviets, or cordones industriales in Chile, another very important revolution in Chile in 1970-73. And these, at the beginning, they are absolutely spontaneous. And I believe this is what brings together all the world revolutions, the Hungarian one and all other revolutions. It is the Soviets. I will call it Soviets here. You know that not all revolutions have the same dual power organization. The Soviets are different from councils, are different from workers' commissions, are different from cordones industriales. But what we are speaking here is about two things that I believe they have to be studied in a global scale, comparing revolutions, and we will learn a lot if we can do this. The first of all is workers in workers' councils. They are an organization against the state. They are not an organization fighting inside the state to change the state. They are fighting outside of the state to dethrone the state, to destroy the state. This is, I have dedicated my studies to the Portuguese Revolution, that the book was now fortunately launched in English, and I had a big debate with a left postmodern philosopher, because he defends, Boaventura Sousa Santos is quite famous, he defends that the Portuguese Revolution showed that the workers could get reforms from the state and have a better life if they use the mechanisms of parliamentary representation, etc., democracy, representative democracy, etc. But he didn't make any empirical studies, and I went to do this for more than 10 years to study the Workers' Commission, that in Portugal involved, among 10 million workers, 3 million were involved in Workers' Commission, Soldiers' Commission, Land Reform Commissions, and Neighborhoods Commissions. And what we have proved in our research is that even the reforms were conquered by these commissions against the state. The state appears after the reality to make a law to make it as possible inside the state. But the reality was before that done by the workers. And as in the Portuguese Revolution, as in cordones industriales, as in the Soviets, another two things I think are important, among other ones that we haven't studied yet, of course, is that they are born by necessity. They are not born by ideology. They are born by necessity. So the Soviets in Russia, they were born because there was no energy, there was no food, there was no workers' defense. The state was collapsing, putting all the money in the world, and the Soviets have been born to give basic necessities to the people. And I want to quote here for the first time in my speech, but I will do it second time if I have time, the great philosopher Lukács, it's absolutely essential nowadays to the left to make a bridge between ideology and necessities. The idea that ideology are out of workers' necessities is, from my point of view, absurd and makes no sense. So the workers have developed a socialist conscience while they were conquering basic needs for everyday life. And this is very common in all councils. We have studied through the revolutions in the 20th century. For example, recently, because this is the 45th anniversary of the Portuguese Revolution, and I was invited to make the national exhibition, and I went to interview some of the workers that are still alive, and there was a worker, she was very poor, a textile worker, woman, and she was telling me how they have built the public bus. There was no public bus to the shanty towns where they were living in Lisbon. So one day they occupied the bus and they told the bus driver, from now on you are going to stop here, here and here. The places were healthcare, work, factories, schools and shanty towns, because the buses didn't reach the shanty towns. They stopped before them and they had to walk 5-10 kilometers. On the night before, in the Workers' Commission, they have built with a piece of wood the bus station, and they put it in each place. And still today, this bus exists. It's the same bus. The road was designed by the workers. I gave you this example because Victoria, it's her name, she became a socialist doing this. That's how the process of political conscience has developed, and this is the second time I want to call Lukács here, because the Soviets, Workers' Council, whatever you want to call it, they developed a political practice. They bring laborers to politics, and they bring politics to laborers. There is a political practice of democracy that is much more intense than the representative democracy. In fact, the slowness and the irrationality of the bureaucracy is questioning by the workers' councils during the period, because people, through direct democracy, they become much more efficiency and much more rational in building everyday life. I must say again that I'm not here defending naive vision of the Workers' Council. Workers' councils are not sufficient to run a revolution, the question of the state or the question of internationalism. Of course, when we study the revolutions in the 20th century, we are all studying the fact that most of the revolutions in the 20th century were in peripheral countries. They took place within army parties, within peasants, not organized working class in the core countries. Secondly, there were never after the Bolshevik party a party like the Bolsheviks. This is a reflection. I have no time to do it. I don't know how to do it. In fact, we have to do it by ourselves. But so I think if we want to debate socialism, and before debate socialism and overthrow capitalism, we have to debate all these things. But my point here today was to stress the importance of Workers' Council, because the idea that when workers in the revolutionary process, the bourgeoisie has been a little bit successful convincing workers that when they try to do things, there is a chaos coming. There is a situation of big chaos, big confusion, etc. And I believe from what I've studied, that is exactly the opposite. We live in a huge chaos, and when the workers' councils start working, we live in the less chaos. The situation becomes much more rational, much more. So, for example, most of the revolutions, they overthrow the political police. Usually it's the first building they attacked in the 20th century, it's the political police building or the prison building. But then, immediately, they build self-defense groups against robbery in supermarkets. This is absolutely spontaneous in most of the revolutions. So people do not promote chaos or robbery or whatever. There is a spontaneous action towards organization of everyday life, which I believe it comes. That's why the workers' councils are so important, because they also put the organized working class as a vanguard of the other sectors of the subaltern classes in the workers' councils. This is very important, and I will call Lukács for the first time, because of course the experience of the organized sectors of the working class and the production, because of the connection between labor, organized and disciplined labor, and the workers' council is very important. I even see this nowadays because I do a lot of militancy as an intellectual, as an academic in the unions in Portugal. And when we go to the activists, it's very difficult to do everything. But if we go to a factory, it's very easy to do everything, because they are extremely organized. They bring the discipline of the factory to the politics, and it becomes much easier to do it. Another question, another point I want to stress of the Workers' Council is the diminishing between manual and intellectual work, between thinking and doing. So when people are gathering in the Workers' Council, they take decisions that are engaged with responsibility of doing the decisions, and the doing has the responsibility of thinking. So, for example, in Portugal, all the universal education system and the health system was done by Workers' Council of doctors, physicians, and teachers. And as they were designing their own work, they have made an extraordinary piece of art, and much more rational than a management. I advise you to buy the recent book of Pluto Press, Shut Down the Management Schools, because if you compare the most amazing stupid ideas that they have in the management schools with an idea that the doctors have managing the hospitals in the Workers' Council, it's really amazing. It's an extraordinary process. So I promise this is my last remark. I think there is a breach in the Workers' Council, in revolution, I must say, between organization and politics. There is no good politics for a bad organization, and the opposite is also true. So when Lenin realized the role of Soviets, I think he realized that they could fight as the Bolsheviks, they could fight for a political strategy in the Soviets, because of the things I've been remarking, and most of them are inspired in Lenin works. But he realized that the better idea could not survive in a structure different from the Soviets. I think this is very important nowadays, because the left is so despair that they are supporting left bourgeoisie governments as the world workers' governments. And they are supporting state solutions for problems, terrible problems such as migration or labor restructuring, etc., etc., because we don't see in our front nothing different from the state, from fighting for the state. And the workers' strongest council in the 20th century, remember us that we have to fight against the state. This is the biggest inspiration that Bela Kun and the Hungarian Revolution, and all the revolutions, have given us. Thank you so much, and sorry for my